She put them around it.
Good afternoon, students. My name is Nicole Sands.
I'm Amanda Thurman,
I'm Lindsay Prater.
And I'm Michelle Mims.
and we're with State Fair Community College Nursing Program.
Today we will be discussing the nursing era of 1901 to 1929 and how it has shaped nursing today. These are a few of the important people and things that happened during our era.
First, we're going to discuss Florence Nightingale. She influenced the techniques for care during World War I, proper care for patients, which include the asepsis care. She died of heart failure on August of 1910. She was born in Italy and she attended the nurses training program in Kaiserwerth, Germany. One important thing about her is that her parents was against her becoming a nurse, and she followed her dream anyway and is a major influence on nursing then and of today. And Annie Dahmer. She was elected president of the Nurses Associated Alumni. She was also a member of the first board of nurse examiners and became president of that board. She also was president of the American Journal of Nursing Company, and she served for 5 years as the second president of the Nurses Associated Alumni, now known as the ANA.
Linda Rogers. She was the first school nurse. Around October of 1902, she visited schools to examine and treat contagious children. She also acted as an advocate of dental, hearing, and vision screenings, which we still implement in our schools today.
Sorry.
Mary Adelaide. She was the first nurse to occupy a university chair. Sorry, guys. She was appointed professor of institutional learning at the Teachers College at Columbia University, and she was also an author and the world's first professor of nursing.
We've also got Helen Fairchild. She volunteered as a nurse during World War I, and she became one of the most famous nurses for her nursing letters describing nursing during the war. And she died due to mustard gas and the stresses of combat. Click. And then we've got Margaret Sanger. Now, she was an advocate of birth control and women's health by doing a monthly feminist magazine and a series of articles. She did the first family planning clinic, which was in Brooklyn. And at that time, she was arrested for causing a public nuisance for that family planning clinic, but was later, the case was dismissed.
Now we're going to talk about 1901 through 1905. That's when the first state nurses associations were organized to work towards state laws to control nursing practice. The Army Nurses Corps were established, and the first bill concerning registration for nurses was enacted in New York, North Carolina, New Jersey, and Virginia. Then from 1906 through 1910, the Nurses Associated Alumni cooperated with the American Red Cross in establishing the Red Cross Nursing Service. Jane Delano, sorry guys, of New York was elected president of the Nurses Associated Alumni, and August 25th, 1908, National Association of Colored Graduate Nurses was established, and Florence Nightingale died at the age of 90 on August 13th in 1910 in London.
The era of 1911 through 1913, the Nurses Associated Alumni changed its name to the American Nurses Association in 1911. The ANA helped to organize the National Organization for Public Health Nursing in 1912. The War Department formally accepted the Red Cross enrollment as a reserve for the Army Nurse Corps and the Navy Nurse Corps. In the World War I era, only trained nurses were allowed in the military. They were not allowed to serve on the front lines. No deaths were due to combat of nurses. The major epidemic of pneumonia in 1917 and the major influenza epidemic of 1918, which 260 nurses died in that, also provided for the Smith-Hughes Act to provide money for practical nursing schools in 1918. The ANA established the Central Information Bureau for legislation and information to supply data concerning the work of the state boards of nurse examiners in 1914. The membership basis of the ANA was changed from that of membership in the Alumni Association to membership in the State Association in the year 1916. In 1914, Mississippi passed laws to license practical nurses. And in 1917, they also standardized the standardization of nursing requirements for practical nursing was established. Also, Annie W. Goodrich originated the Army School of Nursing in 1918. She also served as the school's first dean.
We are going to be doing 1920 through 1929, but I wanted to elaborate a little bit. Before passing the law to license those practical nurses that Michelle was talking about, the public had no way of knowing who was providing nursing care. Licensure was not mandatory at that time. Today, all states are required mandatory licensure.
The ANA adopted the Florence Nightingale School of Nursing in France as the American Nurses Memorial to the nurses who died in World War I. The school's cornerstone was laid on June 5th of 1921. Go ahead.
The ANA helped secure legislation granting relative rank to members of the Army Nurses Corps. The ANA also appointed a committee to the status of colored graduate nurses to establish lines of communication with National Association of Colored Graduate Nurses.
And in 1920, there was a shortage of practical nurses because many did not return after the war. 512 student nurses graduated from the Army School of Nursing during this time of 1920 through 1929. And the first ANA field secretaries were appointed also. The tentative code of ethics for nurses was adopted by the Nurses Association during this time.
We hope that you've been able to see how nursing has evolved and shaped our nursing practices today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
8 minutes.
Good.
Should we watch it from this?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh.